league.
Yeah,
because anything that helps raise our standards.
Absolutely, and he is. I think he's definitely a grade up from a lot of the referees that that we've got here. I think is refereeing at that level at the NRL. I mean, and at international level is one of the names that you recognise from over there. That he's one of the sort of famous referees, isn't he?
Well, what he is experienced as well. He's been in the refereeing game in the top grade. I think he made his top grade debut in about 2001 or 2002.
Yeah.
So we've not got that many experienced referees. That's one of the problems we have at the moment. It's not necessarily that these referees aren't good or won't become really good referees. People like Liam Moore and Chris Kendall and people, but they're not hugely experienced when they're getting into Super League. So we're getting referees coming into Super League level.
Green.
Yeah. Whereas if we got Matt Chechin coming into Super League level, that's a very experienced whistleblower there that we can build something around as well. I'm sure he could give a lot of experiences. So hopefully, yeah,
because it definitely would welcome him over. Ironically, I haven't seen this game, but I think the Penrith Panthers against Canberra Raiders game, there was some sort of controversy in that game.
Was there? I didn't watch it. I've not kept up with much NRL stuff this week at all.
I think I'm sure I saw something on Twitter. There's somebody saying that Canberra Raiders literally can't catch a break at the minute or something. So
that's just the Canberra Raiders. That's just how it is. Though. They lose every close game late. I think they must have kicked a drop goal to go narrowly ahead at some point as well.
At least they can kick a drop goal.
There you go. Well, that's what I was worried about the Leeds Warrington game getting into a golden point farce. We could have been there for hours.
Yeah. So England international Chris Hampton will hang up his boots at the end of the campaign. The 36-year-old has announced that this season will be his last after a 16-year career in the professional game. Hampton started his career with West Tigers in 2003 and went on to play 201 games for the club, scoring 39 tries. He then moved to Cronulla Sharks in 2013 and enjoyed 5 seasons there, making 116 appearances. And he will finish his career with Newcastle Knights this year. He's had a good career. He's won two premierships. You can't with 2 different clubs. Like a long time between them as well. Cronulla was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it? And West Tigers was sort of 2005 or something.
Yeah, it'll have been over 10 years between the two, which is quite an impressive stretch that he managed to stay. Do we say at the top of his game? I feel like Chris Hampton, has he ever really had the top of his game? He's one of them guys who's a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, 9 games out of 10 sort of thing, isn't he?
Yeah. But in the NRL, that's a high standard, I guess, and. It obviously got a spin with Newcastle Knights this year, even though he was 34, coming towards the end of his career. They wanted to give him a contract. He was in the England squad
for the World Cup,
recently.
Well, I don't think it was as controversial, was it, with him, because he'd been in the England squads before. He'd kind of nailed his colours to England a number of years ago.
I think it was just that Bennett had said that we didn't have any good edge runners here, and then he put Hampton in, who's like a sort of 35-year-old sort of war horse, which we've got plenty.
Well, it was the bigger controversy was probably over McQueen, weren't it?
Yeah.
And he didn't even make the World Cup squad, and
he was injured, wasn't he?
Well, was he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was injured.
Well, either way, I mean, you just got to see what people like Ben Curry and John Bateman and Mike McMeekin and Elliot Whitehead could do, and all of a sudden, we did have people, and you didn't even have to go and look at the actual real quality second rowers in our competition like Liam Farrell, who he seems to fucking know. Not bitter about it or anything.
No, it's a fair one. I didn't understand that myself. So you're the next one, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm finally. This is an interesting story, and it's so fucking rugby league. This story, it's like ridiculously rugby. When you read the no helmets required that you won last week, you'll read that and then read this story and think, are we still 60 years on from that? So the future of the Midseason Test in the United States is in doubt, with the NZRL and the RFL still waiting on payment from the event promoter. New Zealand's players are expected to see $5,000 match fee in their bank accounts this week after the New Zealand Rugby League paid the cash, according to NRL.com. But this comes at a cost, with the NZRL now having to carry $100,000 of debt because the promoters, More Sports, haven't paid. I think that's $10,000. The comma's in the wrong place. Because the promoter, More Sports, haven't paid up the agreed fee by the deadline, which was the July the 31st. The NZRL and Rugby Football League signed a 3-year agreement with More Sports International to play a mid-season test match until 2020, but there was going to be a review of the agreement after the first year if there was a breach of contract, hence why the future of the tests are now in doubt. I took that from the Love Rugby League website, and it is an interesting story, and it's so utterly rugby league. From what I've gathered from hearing some things from some people I spoke to at the weekend, the More Sports group have kind of cited tax legislations in the USA as delaying them being able to finalise the profits and stuff from the event, so share those out with the two governing bodies. But it sort of feels like that sort of stuff should have been understood beforehand if you're going to set a deadline for when payments to be expected. And the most concerning thing for me is More Sports International are the people behind the 2025 World Cup bid.
Right.
So where do we get left if these people fall out with two of their major stakeholders in that World Cup bid, which would be the England and the New Zealand Rugby Football League associations? It just feels so fucking rugby league. Like, it couldn't get more amateur hour sometimes.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what. I always wondered what this More Sports company would think of the fact that it was always in doubt up until a few weeks before. You know, I don't know whether they could cite breach of contract, because actually they'd signed a contract, they got this game announced, they would got and a sort of a commitment to market it and what have you, and then all the way up until maybe 3 weeks before, there was a doubt that any of the star players would come over, and I wonder if that's what I wonder. I didn't know anything about this tax legislation, but I was thinking maybe they might be thinking, well, actually your hamstring was there, and that's why there was 20,000 there, and there could have been 40,000 or whatever, and that would have made us more money. But that's
actually an interesting outlook on it. I would suggest that they'll have done a good job in hiding that from the American public. But it's an interesting point. If there was rumblings of whether it was going to go ahead or not, I mean, we don't know how the makeup of the tickets were sold in terms of what was sold in advance, what was kind of more local people walking up closer to the event, but it does seem like there could be lots of conversations in there. It's just not ideal, is it?
It's not. And the thing that irritates me the most about this kind of thing is that rugby union will sit there and go, that was a good idea, we'll have that, and they'll go and put a game on in their off season exactly the same time, using the vast economic resources at their disposal and fill it out.
They already have done those things in rugby union. My sister and her husband went to watch the All Blacks against Ireland at Soldier Field in Chicago in front with 60,000 on. It will have been last year, I think. So they're already on top of that as well. So it is it's always a struggle for rugby league to get off the ground, but things like this really don't help us. And whenever a British sports governing body even gets into bed with an American sports promoter, part of me just thinks, what was it, Alan Sanford, was it? The shyster who did the deal with the Caribbean 2020 thing that was meant to happen, and basically got put in prison for fraud and embezzlement and all that sort of stuff after he'd just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with the ECB to have regular tri-series or something between England, West Indies and another down there and stuff. So I hope it's not another one of those situations, Leigh, I've got to say. Okay, that is the news from around the world of rugby league. So we are now going to go and look at the Challenge Cup semi-final match reviews. Right, Challenge Cup match reviews now, sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league, birthday cards and more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop, and on any orders over £5 you can earn 5% cash back, and also 1% of your order value will go straight into the SLP coffers. You just need to secure your cash back by putting SLP discount at checkout. And if you want to give your 5% to SLP too, you can by messaging Rob's Toy Shop when you make your order. Rob's Toy Shop kindly donated some toys to any listener who was going to the game, the Women's Cup final on Saturday. They offered to bring toys along, age-appropriate toys. There wasn't many listeners going, but there was one listener that were able to take up on that. So that was really sweet gesture from our wonderful sponsors. So well done to Rob's Toy Shop on eBay for that. Challenge Cup semi-finals then. Well, let's get started.
Absolutely.
The aggregate attendance over the whole affair was 26,086. It never quite felt full.
No, never.
Which we kind of spoke about a little bit off air, didn't we? And before we get into the game, shall we talk a little bit about the atmosphere of the day and stuff like that? Because when I rocked up about 11 o'clock-ish, it felt like an event. There was fans everywhere, streaming in from all directions. It really did have that great sense of an event, like a final normally would feel like. And I've never had that sense at a semi-final when it wasn't a double header. So I sort of stood around thinking, this is great credit to the RFL for figuring out that double headers are needed for this kind of thing, and putting it in a location where everyone can pretty easily get to Bolton. It's kind of motorway adjacent and stuff like that. So I thought great, and then I got in the ground. There wasn't that many people in the ground for the first game. There's a lot of Saints fans in the ground, but there wasn't a whole ton of the other fans in the ground, which was a little bit disappointing. It kind of filled up as the first game went on, and obviously the more Wire fans that came in, the more they were enjoying the fact that we're going to talk about Saints behind and stuff like that. But yeah, how did you find it? Because I was in from the start. Were you in from the start?
Yeah, I was. So we arrived about 11:30 into Bolton and got parked up. And like you say, there was people getting parked up. There were people falling out of cars, from the back of cars, already drunk. It looked like, and with Saint shirts on and ready for it, and walking down with hundreds of people towards the stadium. And got to the stadium and loads of people milling around, sat on the grass. There was some stuff going on, people getting barber shaves and stuff.
The man van was there,
and the oddballs, and they were all there. And it just like you say, it did feel like an event. We all walked around. I sort of got to the
people were singing and stuff.
It was absolutely fantastic, and everybody sort of getting on and milling around, families in different shirts, and it was just like a really, obviously with the sun and everything, it just felt like it was brilliant, and I couldn't wait to get into the stadium really, and sort of I've, like I say, we talked about it off air, but if I paid to come and watch two games, I'm watching two games, and I thought that everybody else would want to do the same, especially if you're a Leeds or a Warrington fan, why wouldn't you want to watch Catalans who are doing really well at the minute, and Saints who have been putting on a show all season. So
some absolute star players, weren't there? Particularly in this first game with Ben Barba and James Roby. We're talking about one of the most exciting players and one of the greatest players there. Luke Thompson, who's been in fantastic form, and Mark Percival. That Saints side absolutely littered with star names. And on the Catalan side of things, Remy Casti and Michael McAlorum and Julian Bousquet probably together have been as good a front row as has been in Super League in the last 2 months. So loads to see. I agree. I don't want to say it was disappointing, and I certainly don't want to put any shade towards the RFL for this aspect of it.
It's
there was always going to be an element of it. I expected more of the Leeds and Warrington fans to be in for the start of that first game than were there. By the end of the first game, but
I mean, we'll kind of get to that, but I think I don't know whether. I mean, I've never been to Magic, so I don't know what that's like. But I'm guessing it's the similar sort of a thing. And I would sit through every single game from minute 1 to minute 80 of the